The Common Core standards call upon all students to engage in language and literacy activities that focus on disciplinary practices at the heart of the various content areas. And so in English language arts, the Common Core standards call on students to engage in texts of increasing complexity, to use writing for building arguments in relation with complex texts, to use speaking and listening skills to engage in debates, to talk about important ideas, to build knowledge together with other students, to present that knowledge to an audience, to discuss that knowledge in small groups, and to use language in meaningful and creative ways.
Our second or third question too.
Okay.
Okay, we said that he wants people to take action against the civil rights, and then we're going to use the quote where it says,
So this creates challenges for all students. For English learners, there are obviously additional challenges because English learners are going to be engaging in these practices in a language that they're still in the process of developing.
In your group of 4, decide who's going to go first, and you're going to share out your partner's story. We're not commenting on the stories until everyone has shared.
One memorable argument that Raul has had was when they were arguing of if he should go to the baseball practice or not.
These challenges are also opportunities because the kinds of challenges presented in the Common Core with appropriate support can be the very kinds of language learning opportunities that English learners need to be able to engage in increasingly interesting and meaningful and important and challenging discourse.
We have crafted a whole system of scaffolds or supports throughout the unit. Scaffolding is the temporary support that is offered students so that they can work beyond their current level of autonomy. But scaffolding has precisely as its goal the fostering of student autonomy, because it is providing supports only while those supports are needed. And these supports are sometimes supports that are academic, conceptual, linguistic, but they're always woven together.
Every group is going to read just one speech and then go back to your home group and you're going to report on that speech. So if you look in your book, there's background reading for each of these speeches. So if you're reading the Wallace speech, you read background on the Wallace speech.
The language learning opportunities are embedded in the rich and meaningful instruction, with specific focus in many places on language and literacy, but not separated from the kinds of activities and practices called for by the Common Core standards. So we're not talking about removing English learners from the challenges of the standards, but rather finding ways to support them and meeting them.
Each lesson comes in 3 important moments. The first moment we call preparing learners. When we are preparing to approach a text, we either want to activate prior knowledge that the learners have, or we want to build background knowledge, as for example with the Gettysburg Address. Then you bring the text and you help students interact with the text. So there are a number of activities that, for example, pick out a chunk of the text, help them deconstruct that chunk, and then reconnect it back to what is the logic that is being followed in the text.
I'm going to give each of you a little section of this speech, okay? You and your group, you're going to try to put it back in order.
The third moment is called extending understanding. So by now, students have understood what the text is about. But they need to take that universe that they have learned and connect it to other ideas that they have been developing, or connect them to the world or other situations.
What do you mean? All right.